Show me where that easement is filed. I don't have to show you anything, she snapped. This is community access. For who? Everyone who. She gave another shrug. People like me. That was the moment I knew she wasn't just entitled. She was dangerous in the way only delusional confidence can be. She believed the road existed because she said it did. She believed the land belonged to her because she used it. Oh, and she thought if she said easement enough times, it would become real. I went to town, pulled up every land document and confirmed what I already knew. She was lying. There was no easement, no shared right-of-way, no historic path, nothing. The next morning I waited again by the field. At exactly 7:24 a.m., she raced down the gravel, through my field and onto the road. That was the last time. I spent the afternoon installing a steel gate at the edge of her illegal driveway. Heavy-duty hinges, concrete posts sunk deep, thick chain, industrial lock. If she wanted a shortcut, she could climb over it, though I'd enjoy watching her try. When the concrete dried and the gate stood firm, I hung 3 signs. Private property, no trespassing violators will be prosecuted. I didn't sleep well that night. Not because I doubted myself, because I knew tomorrow was going to be interesting. I woke up early, grabbed a cup of coffee, and parked myself near the gate. And like clockwork, she came barreling down her stolen driveway. The moment she saw the gate, she braked so hard dust flew into the air. She stepped out like she had been shot out of a slingshot, storming toward the gate with fury bubbling off her like steam. She grabbed the bars and shook them like a zoo animal. "You can't do this. Open this gate right now." "And oh," I said, "this is my access. It's my land." "You are blocking a public easement. Show me the paperwork." Her jaw clenched. "You can't just take away my driveway." "It was never yours." While she was sputtering, trying to form her next excuse, she pulled out her phone. "That's it. I'm calling the police." "Good," I said. "I've been waiting and did." The officers arrived 20 minutes later. Karen sprinted toward them like she expected them to arrest me on the spot. "He blocked my access to the road. He built a gate on public access." The officers turned to me. "Sir." I handed them the trail cam footage, the property documents, the land maps and the boundary lines. They took 10 minutes to review everything. Then Officer Ramirez turned to her. "Ood is on his property. Ubod is on his property. You have no legal right to use it." "That's not true," she shrieked. "Do you have documentation?" "Oh, well, no. But, Ma'am, without documentation, this is trespassing. This is harassment," she screamed. "He is targeting me." The officer sighed. "Ma'am, he installed a gate on his own property. I want him arrested." Several seconds of silence. The officer pinched the bridge of his nose. "Ma'am, he's not the one breaking the law. You are." Her face twisted. "You're all wrong." Karen stormed off, making dramatic hand gestures the whole way, muttering things about lawsuits, conspiracies, corrupt police, and a property sovereignty. But that wasn't the end. Not even close. 3 days later, I got a letter from the county. Karen had filed a complaint saying I was blocking a necessary community traffic route. It was laughable. The county inspector came out, walked the path, examined my land maps, and stood there shaking his head. "She built this?" he asked. "Yep. Without permission?" "Yep. On your land, yep." He exhaled slowly. She really thought this would work. Yep. He took pictures, wrote a report, and issued her a removal order. She had 30 days to return my land to its original condition. Watching her hire workers to break up the gravel she had so proudly installed was a level of satisfaction I can barely describe. I watched from my porch with a lemonade, enjoying every moment of her silent rage as her shortcut was destroyed piece by piece. But what happened after, her attempt to get revenge, is where the story gets even crazier. After the county inspector ordered Karen to remove her illegal driveway, I thought the whole ordeal was finally over. The gravel was gone, the field was restored, and the gate stood proudly where her shortcut used to begin. I had won. The land was mine again. The law was on my side. Logic had prevailed. But if there's one thing you should know about Karens, it's this. They don't lose gracefully. They don't even lose quietly. They lose loudly, dramatically, and with a determination to drag everyone else down with them. The first sign that she wasn't done came just a few days later. I noticed someone had left a paper stuck in the gate chain, a handwritten note, in aggressively slanted cursive. That read, "You have ruined my commute. I hope you're happy." I was, completely. The next day, another note. "You will regret blocking my driveway. This isn't over." It was written with so much pressure the paper was nearly ripped. On the third day, she switched to threats disguised as warnings. "I've contacted the Homeowners Association. They will force you to remove this gate. Funny thing about that, I wasn't in an HOA. My land had never been zoned for one. But Karens think HOA are magical enforcement squads that can override county maps and property deeds. Then, the fourth day, we're creating a safety hazard. Someone could crash into this gate. I almost laughed. Someone could also crash into a tree or a barn or a mailbox. Should we bulldoze those two? But the fifth day was the one that made my blood boil. This time the note said, "I know people in the sheriff's department. You'll be sorry." I took that one seriously. Not scared, just annoyed. She was clearly spiraling. Karens do unpredictable things. That night, I installed a secondary camera pointing directly at the gate. I suspected she'd try something, and it turned out I was right. At 11:53 p.m., her silver SUV crept toward the gate, headlights off. She got out with a flashlight, looked around, then approached the chain. First, she tugged. Then she twisted. Then she tried hitting it with something, maybe a wrench or a metal bar. When that didn't work, she tried climbing the gate. She got one foot up, then slipped, landing on her backside with a thud so loud the camera microphone picked it up. She sat there for a moment, probably stunned by the literal impact of her entitlement hitting the ground. She stumbled back to her SUV and drove off. The next morning, I saved the footage. Around noon, guess who came marching up my driveway with 2 people in tow? Karen, of course, and 2 HOA board members from her neighbourhood. A man and a woman, both dressed like they were heading to brunch at a country club. The man stepped forward with forced authority. "We need to discuss the illegal gate you've installed." I tilted my head. "What illegal gate?" "This one," he said, pointing dramatically at the gate visible from the distance. "The one on my land," he blinked. "Well, yes," I crossed my arms. You can't enforce anything on my property. I'm not part of your HOA." The HOA woman chimed in. "Actually, we have received multiple complaints from residents." Don't care. She blinked rapidly. "Excuse me, I'm not in your..." The man cleared his throat. "Well, regardless of that technicality." "That's not a technicality," I said. "That's the entire point," Karen interrupted, voice shrill. "Though they have authority over this road, it's a community access." "It's not a road," I snapped. "You built it, illegally. Then the county made you tear it out." The HOA reps exchanged looks. Then the woman muttered, "Is she? Didn't mention that part." Of course she didn't. The man's confidence deflated like a cheap inflatable pool toy. "Well, in that case, perhaps we should revisit the complaint." I said firmly, "Du no. You have no jurisdiction here. You can leave." Karen stepped forward, pointing her finger an inch from my chest. "This is harassment." I held up my phone. "You want to see harassment? I have footage of you trying to break the lock on my gate last night." The HOA pair froze. Karen's face drained of colour. "You're lying," she whispered. I tapped the screen. The thumbnail of her climbing the gate appeared. Her mouth fell open. "He can send this to the sheriff's department," I said, "or to the county, or to your HOA show." The HOA woman stiffened. "You didn't tell us about this." Karen stammered, backing up. "He's making it up. He's editing videos. No," I said calmly. "I've had enough." I turned around and walked toward the house. Karen screamed after me. "You can't walk away from this." I did. 3 hours later, 2 patrol cars pulled into my driveway. For a moment, I expected the worst. Maybe Karen had twisted the story again. But when Officer Ramirez stepped out, he was smiling. "Mark," he said, "we got your footage. And? It's very clear and very funny." He held up his tablet with a clip of her falling off the gate queued up. "Very illegal." I chuckled. She really tried. "She also filed another complaint," he said. "I claimed you were secretly blocking a public right-of-way used by emergency vehicles." I stared at him. "Emergency vehicles?" He nodded. She said ambulances use this route daily. We both looked at the flat, grassy field where absolutely no ambulance had ever driven. I told her it wasn't true, he continued, but she kept insisting. We finally warned her that filing false reports could get her charged. So, is she stopping now? I asked. He raised his eyebrows. He wished I could say yes. She didn't. Karen escalated. Suddenly, she began telling neighbours I had threatened her, that I was unstable, that I was aggressive, that I was dangerous to the community. None of it was true, but that didn't stop her. One neighbour approached me at the grocery store and said, "Hey man, I heard you pulled a gun on her." "A what?" "No," another asked. "Is it true you booby-trapped your gate?" "What does that even mean?" Word spreads fast in small towns, even when it's ridiculous. And then she did the most Karen thing ever. She tried to host a petition signing on my property. I woke up one morning to a crowd of 8 people gathered near the gate, holding clipboards. Karen stood in the centre like she was leading a protest against injustice. "This gate must come down," she shouted. "It endangers children." "What children?" I asked, approaching them. "There are no children here." "It endangers future children," she corrected. The group murmured awkwardly. I stepped forward, voice raised. "All of you, off my property. Now." One older man asked, "Wait, this is your land?" "Yes." "Oh," he said. "Why are we here?" Karen hissed. "Don't listen to him. He doesn't own this field. It's communal." I had had enough. I pulled out a large laminated copy of the official county map showing my property lines bright yellow. Highlighted. Overlaid with coordinates. I held it up. "This entire field is mine." The group leaned in. "Oh, wow. She said you were squatting here," Karen paled. "I didn't say that." They walked away from her slowly, shaking their heads. She screamed after them and come back. "You're helping a criminal." They didn't. That night, Karen snapped. I woke at 2:13 a.m. to a loud grinding sound, metal against metal. I grabbed my boots, rushed outside and saw her again, at the gate. This time with a cordless angle grinder, she was trying to cut the lock. I yelled her name, and she jumped so hard the grinder flew out of her hands. Sparks scattered on the dirt as it landed. "What the hell are you doing?" I shouted. She screamed nonsense. "You can't stop me. This is my right. You can't block me. I need this access. I dialed 911. She froze when she heard me say the words attempted criminal damage and trespassing at night. She dropped the grinder, tried to bolt for her SUV, but the deputies arrived faster. Officer Ramirez stepped out again, staring at the angle grinder on the ground. "It's 2 in the morning, he said. "You're cutting his gate open now? It's my driveway," she wailed. He sighed deeply. "Ma'am, you need to come with us." She screamed, thrashed, argued, accused everyone of conspiracy, shouted about lawsuits, threatened to take this to the Supreme Court, and then finally, as they placed her in the cruiser, yelled the line that made every officer look at each other. "You're all trespassing on my freedom." She was charged with trespassing, attempted property damage, filing a false report, disturbing the peace. Her meltdown was legendary. The next week, she avoided eye contact whenever she drove past. The petition disappeared. The Haids have never contacted me again. The neighbours apologised. My gate remained. Strong, locked, unbothered. The driveway she built now existed only as a memory of gravel she stole and drama she created. And the best part, she now takes the long route every morning, the one she wanted so desperately to avoid, driving past my house in bitter silence. She never looked my way again. And that, right there, was worth every second. Thank you for sticking through the chaos with me. If there's one lesson to take away from this, it's that property boundaries matter, and trying to bulldoze them with entitlement only leads to disaster. Respect your neighbours, respect the law, and always install a good gate. Because sometimes a gate isn't just a barrier, it's justice.